Hi there. How is everyone? I'm really excited to be here today and to be talking to you all. All right, everyone. Good to see you all over here, all my platforms. All right, so exciting. So, today is a really powerful day. I just started a series, actually, yesterday, on overcoming trauma if you have been in a cult. So, this is episode 2 of this journey that I'm going to be going on with you all. Okay. So, I would recommend watching the first episode if you want to kind of catch up. Or you can just jump on into this one. Okay, so what I'm going to be talking about today is how, when you overcome trauma from being in a cult, I'm going to be talking about guilt, okay, and shame. So, one of the biggest aspects that we need to overcome when we are in something like this is really just not just forgiving those, because obviously, if we hold on to any kind of resentment or anger or bitterness and all the things, we're only hurting ourselves, right? So we hear this all the time, right? We hear this all the time. Let me tell you why. So I didn't want to forgive the leaders who had abused me, body, soul, mind, and spirit. I was in this for about 2 years. I mean, yes, and it took me about 15 years to, I would say, actually overcome. As far as the healing process, I definitely feel like I'm healed from it now. But I feel like it's always a journey and it's always something that you kind of definitely have to really think of and make sure you're not falling into old patterns or old or thought processes, or also to falling into any kind of shame or guilt. Okay. So when I first started in this, what drew me to it was the fact that I wanted to do international work around the world. So I wanted to do spiritual work. And so I went to this school that was across the country, and it was not an easy school to get into. And, but I qualified. So I thought, oh, this is so exciting. I qualified. And then I ended up over there. And looking back on it, actually coming from already it wasn't, I had already come from that kind of culture, but this was actually to a whole nother level. Something that, I mean, I thought I had pretty much seen it all because I was already in a space where we were already doing, all the Christianese things, but I felt like it was pretty healthy where the environment I was in, even though it was definitely more on the intensity side, with a lot of the slain in the spirit and speaking in tongues and laying on of hands. There was a lot of laws that we had to go by, tons and tons of laws, but it seemed manageable overall until I actually ended up in this school that ended up turning into a full-on cult. Okay. Now, the number one reason why people feel so much shame when they go through something like this is because what happens is you end up letting go of your power. And so until we recognize that we have gone through a process that we the other thing about shame too is we allowed it. Okay, so this was something that I had to come to terms with as well, that I allowed myself to stay in that environment, and I allowed myself to be silenced and put down and belittled and abused. Okay, and it's interesting because though I recognized it, towards by the time I escaped, obviously I was realizing this is not how God works. This is not life. Like they clearly these people are sick in the head, like sick mentally, and they're completely taking advantage of me and the other students in this class. And I went from being this really happy girl, excited about doing mission work globally all over the world. I was so excited about it to becoming, I was literally, by the time I left, after those, it was almost 2 years, I was unrecognizable. I came back home. I looked sickly. I was pasty. They didn't like my hair blonde. And so it ended up like just the color of my hair and just not being able to live off of anything. I was basically like my diet was compromised. I gained a ton of weight. I just looked completely beat down. I didn't even know, like, honestly, because we had to like throw all of our clothes in an incinerator. Anything that like looked cool or anything that was fitted was all thrown in this incinerator. I mean, I remember I couldn't even, I had a pair of jeans, like the Guess jeans that have like the buttons on the front. And they made me throw those in, or any kind of Doc Martens, anything that was cool. Okay. So all of your stuff was thrown in the incinerator. And I just remember like throwing all my clothes in there and being like, and I like, obviously, like, I'm a brand ambassador for a company, so I mean fashion has always been my thing. Growing up, I always wanted to be a fashion designer, actually, or go into the ministry, or do something holistically. And then I became a chef and I owned all these restaurants. But shame, you know is something that shuts us up. And when we walk in a place of shame, it's literally saying people are not going to accept us if they know the truth of what we really went through. And that is a lie. That is a lie. People, honestly, they don't even care. And those who do care, they care about you. Yes, you'll always get the naysayers, you'll always get the mean jelly beans. But I just want you to know that you are so much more than what you experienced. And you can turn that negativity into a positive element in your life. A lot of the students in my class, some of them didn't make it. There were suicides. There were a lot that ended up going on drugs, heroin, things that are really healthy. I mean, not healthy, but really heavy. That's what I was about to say. And, very few ended up staying back in that kind of environment. And then there are quite a few who are still seeking healing through the journey. Um, the number one reason why people end up in mental institutions is because of the simple fact that shame makes you feel like you're nothing. You have no voice. You don't matter. Your presence isn't even acknowledged. And if anyone has ever been in that kind of environment, or been around people that make you feel that way, or you're constantly being put down just for being you, or you're just not doing enough no matter what happens, you need to remove yourself from that environment. That is not healthy. And then once you remove yourself, that's when you find the healing process. So I always say, once you remove yourself from that, even if it's a relationship that's extremely toxic, you remove yourself from that, and then you actually have to start the healing journey. So there's definitely a method to the madness. So a lot of you all know, I don't even know if I introduced myself when I jumped on here. My name is Galen. I go by Chef Galen. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist, dietary health coach, and I've published a couple books, but one of them that I'm going to talk about that has a lot to do with shame and how to overcome it is in this book that I wrote, Divinely Inspired Action, Reprogramming the Subconscious Mind for a Great Purpose. And this is more like a workbook, so it gives you tangible skills on how to overcome. And so moving forward, I'm going to be touching more on this just like throughout the month. So I invite you to follow my journey, like, subscribe, and also tag a couple people in this. Could really be life transformational for them. All right, so much love.
Hi there. How is everyone? I'm really excited to be here today and to be talking to you all. All right, everyone. Good to see you all over. Hi there. How is everyone? I'm really excited to be here today and to be talking to you all. All right, everyone. Good to see you all over here.